Alrighty, guys, what is going on? My name is Tubby. We're talking Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker. I just want to say before I get into this that I'm disappointed that we're getting Brock versus Taker. I know it's been rumored for the longest time, and, you know, I think it was actually since, like, last year that it was Rock and then, like, Brock. And honestly, I was a little disappointed because I was honestly hoping for Daniel Bryan versus The Undertaker. I thought Undertaker offering Daniel a shot at immortality when Triple H wouldn't give him the title opportunity, I thought was golden. But then thinking about it, what else was there really for Brock Lesnar to do? I think the whole Big Show thing, you know, that route, I didn't really feel it was really necessary. He obviously has a contract date, and he needs to go out there and look like a monster. And unfortunately with WWE right now, they really don't have a whole hell of a lot of monsters, so it was pretty much job out Mark Henry and Big Show. Now, when it comes to this build-up so far, I have to say I've not been impressed. I know I should be saying I'm happy. I love Taker. I love Taker's new look this year. I think he looks more badass than ever. I am totally stoked for him. The build-up to me, when Taker came out the first night and chokeslammed Brock, I was like, okay, I'm starting to get behind it. And then just ever since, I feel Brock is a credible threat. I think that Brock stands up as a great opponent. It's a guy that he honestly should face him at WrestleMania. I just wasn't really excited for him to face him this year. So as disappointed as I am, I still think they'll put on a good match. Now, a lot of the speculation and the dirt sheets and the rumors going into this pay-per-view were always, would Brock put in the time? Because those of you guys who don't know, Undertaker works on his matches down in Texas. And would Brock, the guy who doesn't travel, the guy who doesn't want to be on the road, would he be willing to put in the time for an Undertaker match? And honestly, if I'm Brock Lesnar, if you think you're above facing Taker at Mania, I think that you've got something wrong. I mean, this guy is 21-0. It's the greatest streak going in sports entertainment. You know, regardless of what I personally think of it, I still think it should just end undefeated. I always think it should, unless the opportunity presents itself. And in this case, Brock Lesnar beating The Undertaker does nothing. It does nothing. I thought, you know, if you put in Daniel Bryan or CM Punk or a guy that's going to be around day in and day out that could benefit from beating Taker, it would be the right way to go. Now, I know it's WrestleMania 30. It's past, present, you know, all that good stuff. They've got a lot of stuff planned. But I have to be honest, when they announced Brock versus, I don't know why I was hoping for it, because I think Triple H versus Daniel Bryan is a perfect match. I honestly do, after everything they've gone through. But Brock versus Taker is just, I think what really pissed me off was when Brock and Paul were out there and, you know, they were talking about the championship and wanting a match and all this and all that, and then just out comes Taker. Like, I get that's what's happened the last couple of years with Triple H, you know, but they were also, you know, in a thing. I thought the Druids coming out with a coffin, I knew once they put the coffin, especially with WWE, is it's got the false bottom in there. That's why the black is there. And you saw the camera guy cut too early. You saw the ruffles of the ring apron, and I was like, okay, he's going to come up afterwards. It's typical Taker. And I have to say I was okay with it. But then, after the whole thing, and don't get me wrong, I liked it. Like, with Brock looking all confused, like, what the fuck? I don't necessarily think it should have ended the show, personally. I was a little disappointed about that, because last night's Raw really wasn't that strong, especially 2 weeks away from WrestleMania. In my humble opinion, I thought it was okay. I liked the matches and things like that, but it just, to me, it wasn't that strong. And then it's not because Daniel Bryan wasn't there either. It didn't feel like a strong Monday Night Raw. Now, with Taker basically doing two moves, throwing over Brock, over the casket, bouncing off there, I was a little disappointed because I'm still hoping for a stipulation to get announced. I want this match. I want this match to get gruesome. I want this match to get, you know, badass. But I don't know. And a lot of people say this, and I'm not one that's always like Grandpa Taker, but I think Brock Lesnar could hurt The Undertaker. And I don't mean that in a way like it's harmful, it's hurtful. Brock isn't a professional. Brock doesn't know what he's doing, that sort of thing. I just think Brock's, you know, caliber, especially with going to the UFC, is awesome. I think that Taker could be in a little bit of trouble, but I don't see Brock as a credible threat. And I saw CM Punk last year as a more credible threat. After CM Punk's reign, he was champion for 434 days. He goes on to face The Undertaker at WrestleMania. That is huge. You had a guy who was champion for 434 days going up against the Phenom at the greatest show of them, the grandest stage of them all. And this year, you have a guy who lost last year at WrestleMania, went out, beat the COO on the next Extreme Rules pay-per-view, had probably match of the year with CM Punk at SummerSlam, and then came back and faced fucking Big Show. Like, to me, that just, it wasn't as exciting for me, and I was a little disappointed. But that's not to say that this match won't be entertaining or interesting. I still would love to see an F5. I would love to see Brock Lesnar go out in F5 Taker. This match, if there's not a stipulation, I'm hoping there's a coffin match stipulation. I think that would be badass. Personally, I think that would be a great stipulation. The question of the video, what kind of stipulation do you guys want to see? Is there any kind of stipulation you'd like to see put in place? You just want to see a normal match? Do you want to see, something else? I want to know what you guys are thinking. I think a normal match would be, to me, it just doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? I would like to see them go in something other than a singles match. Now, I know CM Punk and Taker put on a great match and all that, but me personally, I would still prefer something in this match to be a little bit more gruesome, besides just Brock Lesnar, because oh man, I think this is going to be the battle of the MMA gloves, though. You got The Undertaker, you got Brock Lesnar, and I'm kind of just decimating Brock right now. I'm not even really paying attention to the gameplay, but I do want to let you guys know that there is no chance in hell that Brock Lesnar wins. Now, if they brought Brock Lesnar back, and he were to come back full-time, and he was going to be here, or not even full-time, but like he was going to be here like every other pay-per-view, or, would be built into storylines, it would make sense to beat the Taker. But just for no reason, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's that headline match, it's Brock Lesnar versus Taker, but to me, one, nobody's going to be Taker anyway, so whoever you really put in his way is just going to be, kind of a distraction until eventually Taker finishes him off. The interesting thing is, how is he going to finish him off? Are we going to see a Kimura lock? I still would like to see, right before the pay-per-view next Sunday, I would like to see Brock Lesnar put The Undertaker in a Kimura lock. Because really they haven't hinted at, submissions. They haven't really hinted on where they're going to go. Like what kind of match they're going to have. Right now it's Undertaker getting in Brock Lesnar's head. With 1 week left to go, I think Brock is going to get the upper hand, and then typical booking that, Taker goes out and wins. I still think, though, that, and fool me wrong here, that something, oh shit, Brock Lesnar with an F5 The Undertaker. I still think that there's a possibility of a screwy finish. I don't know why I think that. I thought once this match first got announced, I was like, uh-oh. Can you keep Brock Lesnar down? And it is Taker. So obviously Taker's got the what it takes to beat Brock Lesnar. Absolutely. I think the new look, his new ferocity. I liked him last night at Monday Night Raw. I think he looks good. I think he is more than capable to wrestle WrestleMania, because I know some people are still in that mindset that, Taker's what, 48? He just had a birthday, 49, 50, somewhere in there. And my God, he's still going. He's still going, but he looks good. He's not like, Sting, who a lot of people speculated Undertaker versus Sting. A lot of people wanted to see that match or thought that match was possible. Undertaker actually looks good. Sting wrestles in a T-shirt. There's a big difference. I think Taker right now looks absolutely incredible. I think, the picture you saw him a couple weeks before he debuted, not so much, obviously, just like Kevin Nash. They like to keep gray hair, and then when they come back to TV, they dye it, just for Men Club. And, that's perfectly fine. I understand that. But when it comes to this match, I think the only way I'm ever going to believe that Brock Lesnar has a chance is I would love to see him put a Kimura lock on The Undertaker, and then Undertaker have to try to fight out of it. I think that would be sweet. What kind of match are they going to have, though? And this is what I keep asking myself is, are they going to have an MMA-style match? Are they going to have, a physical down punches? Because that's what Taker does. Taker can throw some haymakers. So what kind of fighting style are we going to have? Are we going to have an all-out, drag-him-out, beat-him-out war? Are we going to have, a more technical match? Are we going to have – there's so many questions that, are going to be answered that has me, excited for the match itself. I'm just not excited for the fact that Brock is the one facing Taker, because I honestly thought there was a little better ways to go. But when you think about it, who else would Brock Lesnar have faced on the grandest stage of them all, this year? I I think if Rock versus Brock fell apart, I still would have loved to see that one. Color me crazy, but I think that would have been a good match. When it comes down to Taker versus Brock at WrestleMania, with the build-up they have right now, like I said, I'm not super interested in the story. I'm interested in the match. I think they'll put on a good match because there's a lot of different intriguing ways to go. But right now is the way the story is going. Taker's getting in Brock's head. I like the fact that Brock was freaking out last night. I still think, like I was watching on Straight Shoot. If you guys don't know what Straight Shoot is, go subscribe, youtube.com/AubreyRex. Aubrey Sitterson. Him and Agent M, Ryan, had brought up the possibility of, last night having Taker not be there and just doing mind games. And I thought that would have been a better way to go, personally. I think when that casket came out, Brock's looking around and you're like, oh, what the fuck? And then, the show goes dead. I thought that would have been, a good way to get in the head. And then they brought up the point. I think a lot of people would have been pissed off had Taker not been there. So I get where the route they went. I just didn't want it in the main event. I didn't want it in the final spot. It felt like a weird final spot. And I keep thinking to myself now that I know, all the indie wrestlers in there. I want to know which indie wrestlers were the Druids. I'm still thinking about that. And I was more interested last night in trying to figure out who the Druids were and seeing if I could see any faces of the independent wrestlers, because they use independent wrestlers a lot of the times for stuff like that, security guards, all that good stuff before the tryouts and looking at people. And that's what I was thinking last night. I was like, what? Who's the one behind the Druids? And I hate to say that because I love Paul Heyman. I like the way he shut down Paul Heyman last night. But then when they come out for the match, it just doesn't feel the same. I don't know what it is so far about the build-up, guys. What do you want to see next week? The go-home show, the go-home to WrestleMania, the final Raw. What does the build-up have to do to get your interest? What more does it take? Or are you already sold in this match? Are you guys ready to go? Do you want to see Brock versus Taker? Do you want to see one more final confrontation that sets things apart? I would like to see, I think I still want to see, Brock get the upper hand on Taker. And that's usually typical booking. The guy will get an upper hand at the last moment, and then that guy usually loses. So typical booking would say that, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But after the two weird bookings so far, I would like to see Brock Lesnar get the upper hand and go ham on Taker next week. I don't think you want to make Taker look vulnerable necessarily, but I still think you need to have him in a position where he's not the only one in control. Because right now, Brock's looking kind of like a little bitch. I'm not going to lie. So I want to know your guys' thoughts on this. What's going to sell it on it? What's going to sell it for you? What's going to make you go, yeah, I'm so excited for this match? Or are you already excited? Hey, it's Brock versus Undertaker at WrestleMania. It's a big match. The match itself has got me excited. So far, the story, compared to last year with Paul Bearer and the Urn, and that's going to be hard to top. It was so personal. It was so fueled. You had an interest in it. This year, with Brock Lesnar, I really don't have an interest in it because I really don't care for Brock Lesnar. I think he put on a hell of a match with CM Punk. He put on some good matches with Triple H. I think Brock's a great talent. But, with the way WWE is going right now, I think that it should have went a different way. I think that, especially with Brock only being here every so often, I thought the spot could have went to somebody else. But, hey, not having sour grapes. Still looking forward to it, guys. We're going to have my predictions once the final Raw airs during that week. I'll kind of give my thoughts and, feedbacks where it's going to go. I'll just give you a spoiler right now. Taker's not going to lose. Taker's not going to lose. If Taker loses to Brock, oh, man. Well, it makes sense because if CM Punk couldn't do it, but then Brock, we'll see where it goes, guys. I don't know. Undertaker winning. I want to remind you guys, G Fuel is giving away an Xbox One Titanfall bundle, though. If you guys go sign up right now, link in the description. It's free to sign up. You can get your entries in. You can win some G Fuel. You can win Titanfall. You can win some other cool stuff. That link is in the description. Go over there, sign up. If somebody wins, guys, you're inviting me over to your house, and I want to play that thing because I have yet to play the Xbox One besides at the GameStop store because I didn't have money for it. So, until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching. My name is Tubby, and we will see you all later.